Hello, everyone. Welcome to NerdChat. You guys ready for the finale of the Spider-Man X-Men crossover?
I hope so, because I am.
He really is. All right, so this is the last issue of the 4-part, or I guess technically a 5-part series, if you're counting the little prequel I did. So these events take place post-M Day. So this is after the whole No More Mutants, a whole bunch of mutants lost their powers, and all that jazz. So we start with two of the Morlocks on the run. One is narrating the events and telling a story to the X-Men. But what we're currently seeing is what happened.
So this is probably prior to Messiah Complex.
Yes, okay. I believe so. So the guy who is telling the story, he was a mutant, but his powers are gone now due to the No More Mutants thing. But his friend, Joe Bugs, not making that up.
Is that gross bug man I'm looking at?
That is the gross bug man you're looking at.
I hate it.
He was killed, and he claims that he was killed by Kraven the Hunter. I'm on the wrong freaking screen. Oh, there it is. That's what he looks like.
That's Kraven?
That is what Sinister's been making.
That's gross.
Yeah, but just wait till you see what it can do. So, yeah, he was killed. So that Kraven thingy kills Joe Bugs. And we get a glance of him, and he looks like Kraven, and Mr. Sinister did a gross-ass fusion dance. The X-Men are skeptical since Kraven is dead, but they don't get any sense that he's lying, so they go to investigate. And they figure, well, if we're going to be discussing Kraven the Hunter, we should probably get Spider-Man's help on it.
Probably.
And they asked Logan to reach out to him because they've spent a lot of time together lately, and Logan's like, not married to him. They're like, yeah, but he likes you. So our current X-Men team is...
I love that team up so much.
So our current X-Men team is Cyclops, Wolverine, Shadowcat, Colossus, and Nightcrawler, who are literally all my favorites. So I'm so happy with this team. And now the Spider-Man that we get is Peter. We're back to Peter again.
Yay. Would have been funny if it was like Miles.
Yeah. I don't know at the time that this was written if Miles Morales even existed yet. Because I think this is a much older comic.
He might not have.
He might not have actually been a thing. But so they go to the crime scene, and they're all the X-Men are looking over it, and Nightcrawler's up on the wall. And while Nightcrawler's up there, Peter sneaks up behind him, and they mention something about how Nightcrawler probably wouldn't be so spooked if it weren't for the fact that the first time that Peter saw Nightcrawler, he attacked him. Everyone gathers around to investigate, though, and Joe Bug's head is missing. And it turns out that the head was removed post-mortem, like a trophy. Spidey says that it fits Kraven pretty well, but Kraven is dead, and even though that doesn't mean a lot for his bad guys, Kraven's about as dead as his bad guys get.
Yeah.
Because they all, it's a comic book. They all have a habit of coming back.
Yeah, death doesn't really mean anything. Marvel's really bad about that. Like, DC does it too, but Marvel defies death.
DC gets away with it because they reboot their universe every couple of years. Marvel doesn't do that.
That's true. They also have Superboy Prime to punch the universe to make it come back to life.
They have whole reality-breaking things. But you have to remember, what does Marvel have? Franklin Richards.
Yeah.
Rewrites reality with the blink of an eye. Well, he fixes continuity a lot.
That has to be why he exists.
I'm sure it is, whether they admit it or not. So they all head back to the X-Mansion to go try to look things up because they're like, well, before we go dig up Kraven's grave, he has a lot of family who are too different from him, so that might be them. But they're able to look up, and they're like, well, everyone that's in New York is locked up, and anyone else is just crazy far away from New York, so it's not any of them. And Cyclops and Spider-Man discuss that this might have to do with the time that they fought Kraven the Blob, like all the way back to that. And they get lost in nostalgia for a bit before Kitty gets them to come back and get back on track. And this is when they bring up how... Oh, hold on. Yeah, Kitty gets them back on track, and Peter brings up that they thought they won. Now that Kraven got exactly what he was after with the DNA samples, so they think that they had beaten them, but he has to explain to the rest of the team they don't understand what the hell they're talking about. So the DNA samples, it was all part of the plan, and it probably has to do with this. Like, they're almost certain of it, because it's too many connections being made.
Yeah.
And Peter realizes this very likely may be a clone of Kraven, because they've been running into a lot of that lately. Especially with Peter having his own clone dilemma of his own. And right as they're feeling confident that they can take on a Kraven clone, all the lights go out. And Peter's like, doesn't happen that you guys happen to have just forgotten to pay the power bill. As Colossus is like, no, we run off the grid. That this can't happen. And what's even more strange, it only goes off in like the room that they're in. Like the rest of the mansion still seems to be on. So, what you looking at?
Him.
Yeah, he's gross. So this is when the Kraven clone jumps in, and with what I thought was a flash grenade, it's not a flash grenade. And you won't be able to know what exactly he's doing until a little bit later. Well, actually, no, that is a flash grenade. You know what I said.
Moving on.
The Kraven clone jumps in with a flash grenade and stabs Wolverine in the cloak, quickly stopping him. Then he stabs Colossus, who is in his metal form, but he stabs him with a vibranium blade, which is toxic to his metal. So it goes right through him. Spider-Man starts webbing up Kraven, while Kitty phases Logan through the knife so he can heal his throat. While he's stuck, they try to figure out who this fake Kraven is, and ask him if he's a clone, like while he's webbed up by Spider-Man. The Kraven clone starts to remember how he came to be and remembers his purpose. So we start to see we see like a flashback to like him coming out of his tank and whatnot. And his mission is to collect samples of the X-Men for Mr. Sinister, and when he's done with that mission, he will have earned a name. He freaks out, and the webs start to freeze, and he breaks through, screaming that his name is X-Graven? I don't know. Scraven. Let's call him Scraven.
That sounds good.
I'm good with it. I mean, I've been writing the script and read this comic a couple times. I'm really not sure what he's supposed to be called, but X-Raven sounds really lame, so I'm good with Scraven. Yeah, so Kurt tries to teleport Scraven around, because that tends to leave people very weak if they aren't used to the process. But Scraven cuts Nightcrawler and breaks free. Now, we start to realize he may very well have the X-Men's powers. The original 5, at least. Because it's really weird that he was able to attack and Wolverine didn't notice him approaching, and Spider-Man's spider sense didn't go off.
Yeah, that's telepathy.
So, it's telepathy. The webs froze because he has Iceman's powers, and he is not being stunned by being teleported all around because he has beast stamina. And then he fires optic blast out of his eyes, which is pretty much a dead giveaway.
Yeah, do it.
So he trades blows with Cyclops, and he freezes Logan, Kitty, and Peter. Well, I should specify that it's Spider-Man, not Piotr.
Piotr.
But he's, like I said, he's trading optic blast with not Colossus. Oh no, he does optic blast Colossus. I can't
blast him into the wall, and then he clashes with Cyclops.
Exactly.
From what I can see.
Yes, that is exactly what's happening. You guys can see the screen. But he knocks back Kurt and Scott with he just hits him with beast strength. And Cyclops claims that Scraven is just a copy. He's not the real thing, and the optic blasts that are colliding, he can't possibly compare. Which, I have something to say about that really quick. So, if that's Cyclops' own optic blast, technically it couldn't hurt him, right? It shouldn't be able to, because he's immune to his own optic blast.
Yeah, he's immune to the concussive force.
Yeah, because he's immune even to his own brother's powers, to Havoc's. So technically that shouldn't hurt, but hey, what do I know?
Technically they shouldn't be able to hurt each other.
Technically they shouldn't be able to hurt each other. So what do I know? I'm just a helpless
melt his
comic
brain,
fan.
Gene. Oh wait, you're dead.
Yeah, she's not around right now. But this is when that's when we realize like how he's able to block Spider-Man and Wolverine's senses and all of that. They're realizing what all of his powers are able to do and how he's blending them very perfectly. Because Shadowcat tries to grab Graven and pull him into a cell down below them, and he uses the mental powers to just stop her like in the middle of the floor. She like cuts off her ability to use her powers, and he like chucks like a bola at Scott's head and knocks him unconscious. Or I guess not unconscious, but it definitely stops him from using his blasts. Skraven tells Scott they are outnumbered, and they doesn't stand a chance, or they don't stand a chance, which we'll see about that. And he holds a knife to Kitty, saying that he'll kill her if they don't all surrender. Spidey responds saying that if he's threatening a now helpless girl since she can't phase, that Sinister Sinister must not have left very much of the original Kraven in there, because he'd throw up at the lack of honor that he's showing right now.
Yeah.
Skraven does not react well to this, because he believes that he's the original Kraven, or he at least wants to be. So he fires a beam at Spider-Man. Scott picks up, Spidey has the right idea. So, Ben beat Sinister last time by humiliating him, and he begins to call Skraven a joke because he's nothing more than Sinister's puppet. Skraven believes that he is the favored child of Mr. Sinister, but Scott tells him that Sinister has been manipulating him he's been manipulating Scott since he was a child, and he invites Skraven to look into his head and just see what kind of a person Mr. Sinister really is and how he treats his so-called children, quote unquote.
Yeah, because he's a douchebag.
And he starts to see all the ways that Scott has been treated and by Mr. Sinister over the years, and how fucked up Mr. Sinister really is. Kitty manages to get free, and Skraven panics, and he makes a flash bomb out of ice shards and optic beams. So he literally he just chucks out a bunch of ice shards and shoots the optic blast into them, and it makes this big flash bomb.
That's cool as hell.
Which is what I thought he was doing the first time when I said that he did a flash bomb, but it was not. So he bails. He runs away.
Does he have Kraven's nipple lasers?
No, that seemed to be a weapon. I don't entirely. It looked like he was pressing a button, but I don't know, man. Those nipple lasers are something strange.
We're gonna have to make a video about those.
The theory behind Kraven's nipple lasers. But Spidey realizes that the knife is gone, and Scott comments that he got away with samples of all of them again. Scott apologizes to Peter that he got stuck in all this stuff with Mr. Sinister, but Peter responds, he's saying, it's okay. They may have made... They've all made mistakes, and they've butted heads over the years, but they've also helped each other out plenty. They have too much in common not to stick together when it matters most. They're outsiders shunned by the public that they've sworn to protect. Because that's where the X-Men and Spider-Man have a lot in common. All of them are protecting people that hate them. And that's what kind of makes them so much more special as heroes. So there's a quote that I really like at the bottom of page 91 between Logan and Peter. Because he says, the sworn to protect thing, and Wolverine's sworn to protect? Did you get that stuff right out of romance novels? He's like, see, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes we can be downright rude to each other, jealous even, because some of us can't turn a clever phrase, while others' artistic talents are limited to burping the national anthem. And Wolverine says, the Canadian national anthem. That takes skill. We now return to Mr. Sinister's lab, where Skraven returns, and his plan to slowly replace the X-Men with Sinister with genetic duplicates. He basically was going to clone the X-Men and replace them one by one. Mm-hmm. And Skraven smashes the vials and attacks Mr. Sinister because he refuses to be a slave to him. This results in the destruction of the lab, and Spidey closes saying, Spider-Man's continuing the speech about how they've always stuck together, and the closing line for it is, "But I say bring it on. Together is nothing we can't handle, because because at what we do, we're the best there is. And Wolverine says, you mangled it. The best there is part comes first. And Spider-Man says, you just can't let a guy have a moment, can you? And then it ends saying, never the end. Because their journeys will never stop.
It can't. Like, they are one of the best team-ups in Marvel. Yeah. Spider-Man and the X-Men flow so well together.
They're perfect misfits that belong together. So, and that's the end of that story, and I love it. It's a really, really brilliant crossover that can fit into continuity because, like, they cover up all their loose ends.
It didn't overstay its welcome. It didn't get like all grandiose and whatnot. They're just like Skraven went and fought Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Also, while we're on it, Colossus looks like hella shredded in that. Like, look at his neck.
Yeah, man. I don't know about that. Like, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a little...
Think about that smashing the shit out of Kitty.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing that you can phase, but you can't take it.
Run away, Kitty. Run away.
But that's that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Because I really enjoyed it. I really like that story. So, that's
also,
what I got.
In that picture, Wolverine is supposed to be a lot shorter than that. I feel like comics over time have just decided that Wolverine is just bigger than he used to be.
Yeah, he's so favorable that people just draw him as the best one in the panel. But Spider-Man gets center frame because he's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. And Cyclops is just there like, hello, I am here as well.
This is before I was a douchebag.
This is before I turned into a terrorist. But yeah, that's all I got. So I have a lot more Spider-Man stuff that I want to do, but I do want to do that Wolverine and Spider-Man one at some point.
Oh, we have to.
But I don't think that I can do it with you because you already know the story. So
do.
We'll have to have a guest appearance. So we'll figure that out, I guess. But yeah, I'm glad that I hope that you guys all enjoyed it because this story was a freaking ride. It was so cool. It's just such a cool little side story, and I love it. So I know that I have Rick. You're probably still whenever this comes out, you're probably still doing KOTOR.
Yes,
you got Young Justice stuff to do.
Because I'm doing the first story arc of KOTOR,
yeah.
And then I'm doing Young Justice.
Yeah.
I want to kind of do it piece by piece.
Yeah.
And take breaks.
Yeah, it's good to spread that one out. I know next I'm doing Nightwing Year 1, so we'll get to that. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
The week after this is when that'll start to come out, and that is we will see how many parts that gets split into. I know it's 6 issues, and I'm trying to make it into 3 videos, but this was supposed to be 2 videos, and that didn't happen. So
nah.
But yeah, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Join our Discord. You can look in the description to join that. Tell us in the comments below what other stories you'd like to see, or just come hang out with us in the Discord.
Yeah, come talk to us in Discord. Yeah. We'd love to talk to you guys.
So. Check out our gaming channel. We got stuff for Anthem, A Way Out, and probably a few other things I forgot about already.
I'm sure there will be footage of us being murdered in For Honor, and
this video is being recorded a month before it goes up, so I don't know what we're doing in a month. We'll see.
We'll see.
But I'm glad that you guys stuck around, and I hope that you enjoyed my video.
And we look forward to making more videos, and we hope you guys enjoy them as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, catch you all later.
Bye-bye. Bye.